Big Basket presents the RCB podcast.
Welcome to Big Basket Presents the RCB podcast, Bold and Beyond. And today we're in conversation with, you know what, leave it. This person doesn't even need an introduction. Let's not waste time with this. Let's go straight to the interview. A lot of names on this wall, Virat.
Yeah.
One has remained constant for 18 years. I mean, we won't get into RCB and 18 years and all that, but let's expand that conversation. If you think of global sports people, and I'm talking about legends and icons, the Jordans, Schumachers, Hamiltons, Cristiano Ronaldo's, Messi's. I think we did our research and found maybe only Tom Brady is one who stayed with one franchise for 19 years. Have you ever thought of it that way when you think about global sports people?
There are a couple of others. They might not have been that big names. Steven Gerrard was one. Francesco Totti was one. He stayed at Roma through his whole career. I mentioned this before. I had the opportunity to explore, to look elsewhere, especially in the very prime peak years of my career from 16 to 19. I had constant, this suggestions and whatnot to switch and this, that, and the other. And at one point, it did become really tough for me because there was just too much happening in my career. I was captaining India for a period of 7-8 years. I was captaining RCB for 9 years. There was expectations on me from a batting perspective every game that I played. I didn't have this sense that the attention is off me. If it wasn't captaincy, it was batting. If it was batting, it was captaincy. So I was always, in this space where I was like, what do I do? And I was exposed to it like 24/7. And it did get very, very tough on me, and it did get too much in the end. That's why I stepped down, because I felt like, okay, if I've decided I want to be in this place, I need to be happy. I need to have a space in my life where, I can just come and play my cricket without being judged, without being looked at as, what is he going to do this season? And, what's going to happen now, this, that, and the other. So I did feel, I wouldn't say tempted, but I did think about it. I also asked myself the question that what is more valuable to me? I have won a lot of things in my career for India. I have won a lot of accolades as well. Playing for India, there's always something that can keep you engaged in a wrong way in terms of desires, Okay, everything but this. That but is never going to go away. So I thought, fine, what is of more value to me today? Do I want to go to a new setup and try to figure out life again? And I don't know how the system's going to be, how people are going to treat me, how patient people are going to be with me. They've brought me in for X, Y, Z reasons. If those reasons are not met, what is the dynamic going to turn out to be? So I felt like, you know what, for me, what's more valuable is the relationship and the mutual respect that has been created over so many years. And I'm just going to see it through now. It's whether we win or we don't win, it's fine. This is my home, and the love that I've received from the fans, I don't think any silverware or any trophy can come close to that, because the impact of that love from people hits you very different to winning something and that next morning it's all gone. This I feel will stay with me for life.
Maga. Weather andre?
Perfect fit.
Cinema andre?
Super hit.
10 minutes andre?
Boys, big basket. 10 minutes andre, big basket. 10 minutes andre, big basket.
Big Basket, delivering in Bengaluru and everywhere in 10 minutes.
It's like a lot of it happens, support staff, faces change. You are now what is the stability factor. So a lot of new faces come, they look to you. But in 2008, when you walked into that dressing room as a youngster, who were the cool people? What were you excited to see? Do you remember any of that?
As a young Indian cricketer, of course, I was looking forward to playing with the people that the Indian legend. So I was very nervous about meeting Rahul Bhai, Anil Bhai, and Zach. I became close to Zach because he more or less took me under his wing and really made me comfortable. And we formed a great relationship from then on, which continues to be. The foreign stars, I did not have a taste of sharing the same space with them because I had never played with them. These legends obviously had played so many games with them, against them over so many years. So they had some sort of a communication or a connection, you can say. But I had none. So I did not really understand that dynamic initially. But with the Indian legends, I was very, very nervous that, I need to be working hard. I need to be well behaved, this, that, and the other.
Did you think about conversations in your head before you had them with them?
I mean, for me, the only icebreaker could be cricket conversations because beyond that, so I've always been this way. I did not feel like I can ask them anything about their own personal lives or, try to push my way into asking them what's going on and, what about this and that. I was like, no, once things evolve naturally, then yes, maybe you can open up more about different aspects of their lives or you want to share yours. But yeah, cricket conversations was the only thing that kept the communication going. And I think everyone was trying to understand this dynamic. Now, suddenly these legends are playing with their colleagues from different countries. And now you have this infusion of these young, brash individuals all in the same change room. So I think it was a bit much for everyone to process. But I think from year 2 onwards, everyone became more in sync and more at ease with each other. And things started really evolving from then on.
Yeah, and you think back to some of the great overseas players that, apart from the great Indian players, you had a great relationship with Chris. You had a great relationship over the years. Was there a golf game that you were invited to with Mark Boucher and so in the beginning? And you had to work really hard in that?
Yeah, I had a couple of horrible experiences because
Horrible experiences?
I mean it was also an exchange of cultures, right?
Yeah.
I had never even gone to a golf course in my life. I would go past it, but I never felt like I'm going to play golf, It wasn't part of my growing up. And then these guys are like, let's go play golf. And then I had to find a polo and wear trousers. And I was like, what's going on? And I went to play golf and I was so bad at it.
Really?
And 3 shots into it, because I kept hitting everything to my right, my body position was off. And 3 times they said you have to go in the bush and hit the ball again. I said, I cannot do this sport. So after 2 times going into the bush, I left the stick. I told the guy, take me into the canteen. I said, I'm going to go have a sandwich. You guys can enjoy your golf. And then, yeah, there were some conversations that broke the ice. Actually, out of all the players that I played with initially, Mark Boucher had the biggest impact on me as a young kid. He was the only guy I saw who came with the mindset that, okay, I'm going to come in and help some of the young players, some of the young Indian players. And he saw me play and he saw a bit of potential. So he figured out what my weaknesses could be. If I wanted to go to the next level, this is what I need to do, without me asking him anything. And he said, okay, I've seen you play this, that, and the other. We need to work on this, that, and a couple more things. I was like, okay. So he took me to the nets. He said, you need to work on the short ball. No one's going to give you a chance in international cricket if you can't pull the ball. I said, okay. And then he was hitting these tennis balls at me at a pace where I was like, if this is what it's going to take, I don't think I'll be able to make it to the next level. But he really kept at it. I started becoming better. And I remember it was in a game we were playing in Chennai or Kolkata, one of the venues, where he told me that when I come to commentate in India 3 or 4 years from now, if I don't see you playing for India, you would do a disservice to yourself. Wow. So he really he stunned me, with the conversations that he had with me. And that really kind of pushed me in the direction where I said, I need to start looking at how I can keep becoming better. He had a massive impact on me in those early years.
I mean, there were conversations about you playing for India, but there was no one who had that sort of, or even within yourself, because IPL had started and sometimes, you can just enjoy the phase of IPL and not take the other formats as seriously. So there was really no one else who was giving you that push to think about it?
I was very realistic about my abilities because I'd seen a lot of other people play. And I did not feel like my game was anywhere close to theirs. The only thing that I had was the determination, and if I wanted to like make my team win, I was willing to do anything. And that was the very reason I got chances to play for India initially. And Gary and MS made it very clear to me that we are backing you to play at number 3, and this is what you can do for the team, and what you represent on the field, your energy, your engagement, that is of the biggest value to us. So we want you to play that way. So I was never looked at as this outright match winner who can change the game from anywhere. But I had this thing of I'm going to stay in the fight. I'm not going to give up. And that is what they backed. So that very thing that God blessed me with, that helped me to improve my game, my technique, everything. And I've never been shy to admit that I was not the most, technically sound and naturally gifted player. I evolved a lot while I was playing because I was very keen to learn and I was very keen to get better. And I wanted to be the best. There is no denying that I wanted to be the best. And that hunger, that desire to keep improving, eventually to win more games for your team is what helped me improve my game.
Was there any fear around that period, stepping in, playing with your idols, expectations, hunger? Was there any fear? What if this
Of course, there was a lot of moments where I felt like it was all completely falling apart.
Can you think of a moment or a match?
Yeah, so I played my first series in Sri Lanka, and then I had, so then I was left out of the team for a while because I had come into the team because Sachin Paji had a niggle, and then when he came back, there was not space left for me. So I had to wait for my chance again, and then Champions Trophy 2009 in South Africa, Yuvipa got a finger, I think he got a fracture or something, and then they called me in. So they used to tell me, keep your suitcase with you, keep your clothes packed, and keep your passport on you at all times. I was always a standby. So they called me over. I was in Bangalore actually. They asked me to fly over immediately. So when I went over, the very next game that I played was Pakistan in 3 days' time. And that was my first India-Pakistan game. And I think scored about 16 or something. And I tried to hit Shahid Afridi for a 6 straight down in Centurion, and I got caught at long off. And we lost that game. It was an important moment in the game. And my heart was beating like so fast through that whole innings. I just could not process everything that happened within a span of 4 days. And I remember us losing that game. Of course, it was a big loss, Champions Trophy. And I just could not sleep. I was awake till 5 in the morning. I was just staring at the ceiling. I was like, this is it. Like, I've been called after a year and I've just messed it all up. I don't know how this is going to shape up. I had a lot of moments like that where I really, really doubted myself. And I had to, again, kind of recalibrate and find a way to slowly build up again and just try to focus on what is in front of me and what might go wrong, in whatever amount of time.
For someone who we perceive as succeeded way more than, we see you as having more good days than bad days because of the accumulation of your accolades. But fear and failure are still part of it. Now, at this age, if you think about it, your approach to fear, failure, does fear still come into your game? Does failure still affect you on a level of frustration or anger? And how do you channel it now?
So the learning so what happens is when you're young, you feel like, okay, if I have scored X amount of runs, by the time I'm this age or whatever, things will ease out. It never happens like that. And so that is the marker actually. When you stop feeling that nervousness or that, anticipation of how things are going to unfold is when people say that that's it. Like, that you're done. So that never goes away from you. Because that very energy is what keeps you engaged to do what you need to do in that moment, in that present moment. So I've tried this on a few occasions where I've been all over the place, and then I would decide, you know what? I've scored these many runs and these many hundreds, and I'm going to walk out thinking that. Makes no difference. And I've always told youngsters as well, it doesn't matter whether I've played 130 test matches or whatever, 300 ODIs. If you've played 2 and your mindset is better than me on the day, you will perform better than me on the day. There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee of me playing 300 ODIs and walking in and saying, it's all going to unfold easily. It doesn't happen like that. Yes, you can use your experience to handle pressure situations, but that same perspective of being in the competition, of being positive, and you have to take a risk. So fear comes from not wanting to take a risk because you're worried about the outcome. And then you have to break it down to the point where you say, okay, even if I feel like I might fail, I'm going to fail doing what I want to do. I'm not going to succumb to these demons in my head who are wanting me to be confused and get out. Because when you're confused and you get out, there's nothing to sort out. Because you actually didn't know what you wanted to do. So what are you going to figure out? If you wanted to play a shot and you get caught at the boundary, you can still say, okay, fine, I could have hit it slightly better and that could have gone for 6. Simple. You find a solution immediately and then you start working on it. But if you have no idea what you want to do when someone gets you out, I promise you that leaves you in a space where you're like, what am I doing? Like, what do I need to work on? You know? So taking a risk never goes away. Whether you've played 3 games or you played 300, the same mindset applies every single time.
When you're in hotel rooms, it can be very lonely, right? You miss the structure around you. But also you get an opportunity to just be alone and recalibrate. Are you always looking for that balance when you're on tour?
Yes. So what happens is for someone who might not get the kind of intensity of attention that is on me, they might feel like it's getting lonely in the room. But when you have such extremes on the outside, for me, my safe space is my room. And I talk to my family through the day. So it's very clear for me the things that I need, in my space, in my life. And I don't have this sense of I'm feeling lonely, I want to hang out, I want to go to this place or that place. I'm very happy with just taking care of what's in front of me. And as I said, trying to find ways to just keep my balance in check. And for someone, it might be going out, just socializing for a bit and those kind of things. For me, it's where can I feel the most balanced and the most peaceful. I do hang out with the boys every now and then. And yes, that's a nice, refreshing change. But I think on a consistent daily basis, I try to stay in my own space and really take care of or replenish, all the energy that's spent through the day by so much interaction.
Is there something in your room, in your hotel room, that can remind you of your safe space? Is there something you carry, something materialistic that just kind of grounds you? Is that changed over the years, or something that you always carried with you for like the past 2 decades or something?
There's no evolved answer to this. My packet of makhanas is what keeps me grounded.
That's nice.
Just sitting and eating makhanas in my room is my happy space. So, yeah.
Maga. Weather Andre. Perfect fit. Cinema Andre. Super hit. 10 minutes Andre.
Boys, big basket. 10 minutes Andre, big basket. 10 minutes Andre, big basket.
Big Basket, delivering in Bengaluru and everywhere in 10 minutes.
All, growing up in Delhi is a very social place, as most places, as Bangalore's a very social place. You always, in fact, there's so many times I've done like interviews around your life and met up with your, your friends from school and all that with the same structure, the same set. That social life, that going out, that, when you're thrust into cricket, you always had going out with your group of friends. Is your circle still the same? Do you still meet up? Do you still revert back to, the Virat of 20 years ago when you meet them? Do you make a conscious effort to try and do that?
So a lot of my friendships have been formed only through cricket. Because I've spent so much time playing cricket and being around cricketers, my friendships have been based on cricket. There is one friend of mine who I've known since I was 6 or 7 years of age. And he's still exactly the same with me. He is very, very content in his own life, doesn't ask me for anything, literally nothing. Even if I would myself offer something to him, tickets, this, that, and the other, he just doesn't take it. And he's exactly the same with me when I meet him now as well. So he's been one friend of mine that's consistently been in touch with me. The others, depending on what's happening in their lives, ups and downs, whatever, on and off. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much the same with everyone that I meet. I've met a couple of my under 19 teammates recently, Tanmay Srivastav, Ajitesh Argal, both who have become umpires now in the IPL. So I met them. We shared a lot of memories. I met Yomi recently in Chennai, Yomahesh. I played a lot of cricket with him. So things stay exactly the same. As I said, I mean, all the moments that I've spent or lived with these people were very organic. So I remember each and every detail of those meetings, and it's so nice to, just go back and revisit all the times where you met different people, you got along, your energy synced, and how when something happens from the right place, how it can feel exactly the same 15 years later as well, which is such a beautiful thing to experience. So yeah, I've never behaved differently with them because I don't feel differently myself.
They don't treat you differently, like they can still take your trip and,
I mean, yes, they can, but I honestly, maybe based on their experiences or the things they might have heard about some other people, they don't approach that openly immediately. And I feel
That
a
affects
bit,
you?
I don't think it affects me, but I just try to ease them, into the conversation or into that space, because I can sense that they might be feeling like I've changed, or now I'm at this position and, I've become the cricketer that is in this prime position or whatever you want to call it. So they get very pleasantly surprised, and then they open up pretty quickly. So I keep forcing them, please don't be formal, please. Like sometimes if someone would incidentally call me up, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you behaving this way? So yeah, there is that little bit of a hesitation, I would say, but I try to ease them into it.
Punjabi khandans are big, right? So like you've grown up, siblings, cousins, all of that. Are you still like this? Are you like the star attraction? Are you still Chiku? Are you something else you were called in your childhood? Do your family, your brother, sister, do they still pile on you, treat you the same? Has anything in that dynamic at all changed?
See, my immediate family, of course, my brother and sister are still the same with me, and we pretty much have similar conversations that we would back in the day. There's a big age gap as well, so it's not like they always tried to protect me and look after me. So that energy stays the same. I do joke around with them a lot. But the dynamics that siblings who are closer in age, what they have, I probably don't have that with them. There's no kind of friendship kind of a vibe. There is respect. There is obviously a lot of love. And there is masti. That stays consistent. If I have to be very honest, I did sense a change after things became different for me from the extended parts of the family, which back in the day, because I was very young, around 2012, this had happened actually around 2012 when I had that breakthrough game against Pakistan in the Asia Cup. And I clearly remember things completely changed for me after that. I did not realize the impact of an India-Pakistan game on the minds and hearts of people in India. When I came back from that Asia Cup, it was like I was in two different worlds. And it was very hard for me to process, because I never thought that something different. For me, it was a game of cricket. It was great, fine. Next day you wake up, go to breakfast, you're with your teammates, everything's fine. But how the dynamics change around the perception, it was very difficult for me to process, because when you see people that you've grown up with calling you up, like people who you've probably, played in their laps, they suddenly start calling you up. And I was like, I clearly remember telling my family there was a function that was happening, and I entered, and you can sense the environment was like everyone was like locked onto me. And it was so weird, because as a child, I had literally been brought up by these people. So I told my mom, I was like, I think I'm going to go. And in about an hour, I left, and everyone was like, oh, why did you leave and all that? But I couldn't take it. It was too much for me to handle. So yeah, my immediate family, things have always stayed the same, but I can't really say that about the extended bits of it. It did drastically change.
Do you miss that? Have you adjusted at all to your new normal, or do you have to keep kind of recalibrating what the new normal is for you?
You know, life of a sportsman, and I can speak about cricket because cricket probably is the only sport where we travel to such different places very consistently. We don't stay in one city, we don't go to the same stadium and come back. So I did spend a lot of time with them, but I did not have a regular kind of back and forth communication or connection with them through my life. So the disconnect happened when I was younger, but the memories stayed with me. Like I remember those times where they were elders, so I saw them, I met them, how they treated me as a young boy. That dynamic changed, but I was never like, how a lot of people have very strong connections with their extended families. I never was able to do that in the first place.
Traveled,
yes, right? I was hardly around. So the formation of that bond is very dependent on how much you meet regularly. Because we didn't have all these devices back in the day to stay in touch. So when you meet people physically, yes, that's quality time spent. So I actually did not miss anything because there was no such huge amounts of time spent with them for me to feel like, this is a part of my life that I'm really missing. But yeah, it was, as I said, for all the memories that I had already in my mind, it was very difficult for me to digest that.
Coming into this IPL, having let go of the T20 format on the international level, has it changed anything for you? Do you feel like you want to try more things with this format now in terms of your own batting?
I think last couple of seasons, I have consciously made an effort to evolve my game. And I've seen the results of it. I mean, again, to the point where I had to kind of let go of people wanting to see me, this is who I am, this, that, and the other, and just go and hit the ball, It really, after all this, so you start from wanting to hit the ball, and then you go through this whole journey of becoming someone and expectations, this and that, to a point where you feel like, this is actually pulling me back. And you have to push through and again get to the point where you say, just hit the ball. That's the only constant that remains for a cricketer. So I don't think things have changed for me in any way. The decision was taken purely understanding that there are new set of players who are more than ready. There is no denying it. These guys are playing a different game altogether to what we played. And they need time. They need a 2-year cycle to evolve, handle pressure, play in different parts of the world, and play enough games to the point where when the World Cup comes, they feel like we're ready. So the decision always has to be interlinked with how the team can evolve and grow into the unit that they want to be, because we also experienced those moments. We also got together as a team and we had to spend considerable time together to form that combination. As far as my own game is concerned, yes, I have looked to make a few changes, which I'm very happy about, because I had to kind of go out of my comfort zone and try different things. Again, the fear of failure cannot enter that space. So I knew that I'm going to get out a few times, and that's okay. I'm not going to expect myself to get 70, 80, 90 every game. Yeah, even an impactful 35, 40, which helps the team, is good enough for me.
So don't give me the diplomatic answer, but were you proud of yourself after that final? Because self-worth is really, really important.
The T20 final? I was more grateful than proud. I knew that I'm going to retire after that.
So irrespective, that would have been...
Yeah, irrespective, my decision was made. Like, I was very clear that this is my last T20 tournament. And I was just grateful for the fact that I was not able to get runs through the tournament, and how, like, I was put in that pressure situation again. And without having a sense of I was walking in with no confidence. I have to be very honest. And then when things are supposed to unfold for you, I get 3 balls, I get 3 boundaries, and I'm like, what is this game? Like, one day you feel like you can't get a run, and suddenly you walk into one of the biggest days
match,
of your career, and things just start happening. And then you're put in this situation where the team needs you, and this performance happens through you, and you're like how? And that's when, you kind of understand, okay, this is the amount of hard work, and then you arrive to the ground, and then whatever has to take place will take place. The preparation is in my hands. The results are not in my hands, and I just have to stay true to my instinct. If I have to hit the ball, I have to hit the ball. That is my only responsibility. Where that ball goes, how the execution will happen, that all because there are other people involved as well. You know, we tend to forget this, and I've consciously tried to be aware of this through my career, that when in my position, everyone wants me to do well, but there are so many people that want that guy to do well as well. So there is no preference here. There is no guarantee that my position is greater than his. He also has a family. He also has friends. He also has people who would love for him to do well. He's also sharing the stage with me. So we get so caught up in, no, this guy has to do well because when he plays well, we feel good, that we tend to forget you're playing with so many other people who have the same emotion, same desire, same drive. Everyone wants to perform. Everyone wants to do well. So when I don't succeed now and someone else succeeds, thankfully, I'm able to look at it that way as well, that, you know, that individual also has the same emotions and feelings as you. So you don't deserve to perform every time. It is not yours for the taking every time. There's so many dynamics that play out, and you just have to put your head down and just be honest with your work.
Maga. Weather andre, perfect fit. Cinema andre, super hit. 10 minutes andre.
Boys, big basket. 10 minutes andre, big basket. 10 minutes andre, big basket.
Big Basket, delivering in Bengaluru and everywhere in 10 minutes.
I have to tell you that post-match show of that T20 final, I've never made more people cry. And it started with Ishant Sharma. Because your visuals were running, and I asked him obviously about, you know, Delhi boys growing up together. He's just like, Mayanti, 1 second, and he did this and he started crying. Then Ambati Raidu next to me started crying. But so much of that was centered around watching you and Rohit lift it together. And for Ishant, obviously, I know he's such a good friend. You guys have grown up together. You're cricket together. There he is sitting as a broadcaster, watching you live out this dream all over again. It was amazing to see that moment of sentimentality and vulnerability. And I don't know if you know that or not, but it really impacted so many of your, you know, older friends who played with you to see you lift that trophy.
Yeah, I saw Ishant's clip as well. So we, like, again, he's someone that I very naturally connected with, and nothing, like, absolutely nothing has changed from day one. You know, regardless of whether we've played together or we don't play together anymore, when I see him, it's exactly the same. And I can absolutely share everything with him, you know, without any judgment, with complete understanding and complete empathy. So he's also a very special individual in my life. And of course, it was, you know, I think when you're connected with someone in a strong way, you can kind of feel what they could be going through or could have gone through. So I think that energy reaches everyone. And we were all emotional about it because we were trying for so long. There have been so many ups and downs. Personally, for me, if you ask me, like, I had like 3 back-to-back setbacks in terms of ICC tournaments, if you put it that way. 2014 finals, 2016 semi-final, which really, really hurt me.
That hurt you.
2017 Champions Trophy final. So it was, and 2015 semi-final. So final, semi-final, semi-final, final.
2019 also, because I was there for all, Virat. I was there for all.
2019 also was a massive. That was the first time actually after the final, the semi-finals got over, and the next morning we were going to leave Manchester. You know, when you wake up and you have no kind of understanding of what you want to do, like, you're dazed. It was like the feeling you get when you have a horrible hangover. It was like that. Like, I had no idea what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to drink coffee, brush my teeth, like, what is the next step? Like, I was completely gone. I could not make sense of it. Everything was fine. We had to play in the afternoon, and it rained, and then we had to come the next morning. Early morning conditions, this, that, and the other. So I was like, what are the odds? But then again, how things unfolded, again, so you have to kind of go back into that space of looking at things. You can't get lost in what happened to me and this is what I'm going through. And maybe it was meant to be that way. And then it was meant to be for England, the way they ended up winning. You can't make sense of these things, you know. You just have to accept things the way. Of course, accepting is very hard. To process it is very hard. But you have to get to that point and you have to keep moving.
Maybe need to change the narrative around one-day cricket. A lot of people say that this is a format, it's so long, it might struggle. Broadcasters come with certain numbers. We just had a very successful Champions Trophy. Before that, you reached the final of a home World Cup with a perfect 10. This is a format that you own. You're a Goliath in this format, the way you construct an innings, the way you chase down an innings. What is the beauty of one-day cricket?
The beauty of one-day cricket, and a lot of people realize that in the Champions Trophy as well, you need to bring in all facets of your game to be successful in ODI cricket. You need to have patience, you need to have the explosive game, you need to have stamina, you need to have explosive power, and to have that intensity, especially while fielding, because it's not a format that's running slow. You have to keep presenting the T20 intensity over a period of 50 overs. So you need a certain physical preparation. So now we've gotten used to pace of Test cricket, pace of T20 cricket, which finishes very quickly, and this one you can afford to stand in one place and not move too much. The one-day format doesn't allow you to do that. You still have to be dynamic. You still have to apply all those facets of the game because sometimes the conditions might not allow you to play in a T20 manner. So you have to buckle down, still strike at 90, 92, still rotate strike, still hit the odd boundary. So it's a very calculative kind of a format where the situation tells you what you need to do and you have to have all the facets of your game ready to be able to apply them in different scenarios. And I've seen that especially with the players coming up, they are still trying to figure out how to play this format. Because we've gotten so used to flat pitches and just wanting to hit the ball that when it's not there, the second option for them, and I understand that because their cricket is based on a lot of T20 cricket and a lot of ODI cricket which has to be attractive for people to watch because people are also getting used to watching the slam bang, hit the ball, sixes, fours all the time. That high pressure games, they are only engaged in a format like Champions Trophy or World Cup. Outside of that, they don't have patience for it, right? Yeah. So to make one-day cricket exciting, we've been making flat pitches for the longest time. Only in this tournament where the pitches were a bit challenging and the format was short and it was a big tournament, people were like, oh, what's going to happen? They were engaged even through the pressure moments. So this is a dynamic that will exist. And I always tell people that, through playing all the bilaterals and everything, the real characters of people will be revealed when the big tournaments come. Because in big tournaments, you have 2 games to mess up. Here, like for example, in the IPL, you get 14 games. There you mess up 2 games,
you're done.
Your flight's done. Yeah. Your ticket's booked. So how people handle pressure, are they still able to follow through with their games? And the ones who will are the ones who will, start becoming the match winners eventually in whatever amount of time. So that will be their marker. And I can't blame these guys because we have grown up on one-day cricket. We have grown up on the time where, the restrictions were not there and the ball's reversing after 35 overs and you still have to find a way to score. So we've grown up on a lot of strike rotation. We've grown up on handling pressure. And then we had to evolve to the explosive game that these guys have today. So it's a give and take. You have to learn from each other's skills to eventually make your game well-rounded so you can perform in different situations.
It was very interesting from a broadcaster's perspective because you always focus on the first 10 and the last 10, but to show teams and what they did in the middle overs.
Yeah.
Now that's where you operate as a batter and that's where you have to operate as a fielding unit with your bowling changes. So how do you own those middle overs? Is that the key to success? Because we saw that reflected in numbers, but I'd love to hear your perspective actually playing those full 50 overs.
Let me put it this way. If you don't hit a boundary for 3 overs, you start feeling anxious. Something's wrong. Whereas my output is, okay, what's the score on the board? We're 15 overs into the game. We're 70. What are we chasing? What are we looking to set up? By over 35, next 20 overs, this is the score that we should have, which is a realistic target. And I'm very happy to get there through rotating strike. Every now and then I will get the odd boundary, but I'm not feeling desperate or anxious that I need to hit a boundary. And when you have that calmness and composure, the opposition can also feel it. And if they're not able to stop runs, at the same time you're not giving them chances to get out, your chances of succeeding become higher. So it's the composure that comes with a lot of experience of having played that way that keeps you calm. So not hitting a boundary for me is not a problem. You know, it doesn't make me feel like something wrong is happening. I think that is the difference of playing well through middle overs. And as a bowling unit, again, very underrated thing is the kind of activity that happens in the ring, inside the 30-yard circle, how you field, how you stop singles, are you able to move well as a fielder in a hot spot, and you stop 2 singles here and you stop a single there, and the guy goes for a big shot. This thing will never be highlighted, but the kind of pressure you can create as a fielder through the middle overs, for that you need physical preparation. Every ball, same intensity for 40 overs, it doesn't come on the day. It comes with the work that happens off the field, how you eat, how you sleep, how you train, how well you are prepared physically. Then you'll be able to go there and say, okay, for 100 overs, this is the intensity I have to put out and I'm ready for it. Then you can start creating a difference. So I think with time, all these guys will realize that this is the kind of effort that's going to take to be very efficient in ODI cricket.
Big Basket presents the RCB podcast.
So Virat, our digital partners, Big Basket, I've got a hamper for you. So let's open it. Let's see what you will actually take from this hamper. There's makhana. First thing we have is makhana.
बड़ी अच्छी चीजें. No added sugar.
Headphones bhi hai.
Headphones bhi hai?
There's headphones.
Oh, tulsi, chamomile tea.
Sunscreen. There's something from Kama Ayurveda. That's really nice.
Very nice hamper.
But thank you so
very
much for chatting with us.
Pleasure.
And giving us so many great moments actually to talk about it. Being very open about your life. So thank you for that.
It was lovely. Thank you so much.